As far as custody goes, what we're going to look to is we're going to look to the home where the children have stayed. We're going to look at the ages of the children. We're going to look at the responsibility levels of the parents. If the parents are good parents and they are doing everything they're supposed to be doing, there's a good chance you're going to get more than standard parent time. Standard parent time in Utah is defined by age. And there's age brackets that go with the statute. So when you look at it, you're going to have to be really careful and cautious about how you interpret it. As the statutes go, the most common one that we get is the one 5 years to 18 years old. If they're in that range, it's every other weekend, one weeknight, every other holiday, and half the summer practically. It's usually actually only 4 weeks of the summer. But for all practical intents and purposes, it's about half the summer. I was speaking with one of the state legislators prior to the last session here in Utah, and having talked to him, I can tell you that they are looking at making joint physical custody one of the defaults. They're doing that for a lot of reasons, because we have studies out there that show when a child has both mom and dad in their life on a more than every other weekend basis, the child thrives as if the parents were still married. Whereas if you're only getting every other weekend, a couple of weeks out of the summer, and every other holiday, it's not nearly as good a result for the kid. And where it's practical, we like to have the children have as much interaction as possible with both parents. It's just better that way. So as far as custody is concerned, we're going to look also at any kind of danger levels. I have people all the time who come in and say, well, you know, he's a drug addict or she's a drug addict. If you're going to bring that up, it better be recent. If it's a past history and it's a history you were involved in as a user as well, you might want to tell me about it, but understand it's not going to change much of anything. They're going to look at both of you and they're still going to say, hey, you both have issues. And they're going to deal with it from there. But it's something that has to be brought up. And you always tell your attorney everything. I hate surprises in court. I've had cases where people have told me, oh no, I've never had a drug in my life. I look them up on CourtLink, on the system, and there's charges there. So I know there's a problem. And they say, well, but you look at the dates on those are way old. Those are incredibly old. Oh, okay. Only to find out that Strike Force has been investigating them for distribution, which happens quite frequently, actually. So, you know, if you're going to do something, you know, keep in mind I have a duty to keep things quiet and not out you on that sort of thing. But if you're doing those sorts of things, you're doing bad stuff, I got to know about it. If you're molesting your kid and it comes out during the proceeding, that's another problem. If your child's been molested by someone else, if there's something going on there that shouldn't be going on, physical, sexual, verbal abuse, those are all things the court takes into consideration. What we try to do is we follow a process when we file a divorce. The process is simple. We file a complaint, we get in and we get some temporary orders going, and we file for a mediation. The reason we do it that way is the temporary orders put pressure on getting the mediation done. If the mediation gets done, we can usually do a divorce fairly affordably. I've done it for as little as $2,500. That's a cheap divorce, especially when you had an attorney on board and did a mediation and had temporary orders in place. So it can be done fairly inexpensively, but it really just depends on you. The quicker we get it done, the better off you are, because as time goes by, parties tend to get polarized to their positions. And when they do that, it just screws the whole thing up. Hate develops, the kids get some animosity going, and it's just hard on everybody. So it's one of those things where custody is a really complex thing, and unless you have some legal skill arguing over custody, it's kind of like cutting your own hair. Yeah, you can do it, but you probably shouldn't, because it's just a bad idea. I'm Roy Cole, and I want to be your divorce attorney. If you're in a situation where you're not getting the parent time you should, if you're in a situation where you're just not happy, well, don't be miserable. Don't wallow in self-pity. Don't put up with the things you shouldn't have to put up with. Come see us. We'll help you out on the road to that divorce. We can help you with the custody issues. We will do for you the things you can't do for yourself. That's our job, to make your life better. We do what we can to help you. Let us do that. Please feel free to call for your consultation day. It's a free consult. Thank you.